them to risk. Create means risk. You don't know what you're going. But going to unknown that's the most exciting thing. To write every day, I write into unknown. That unknown is so chancy. You might not get it. Maybe it doesn't take you anywhere. But that is the most exciting thing because it's uncertain. It can surprise you in a happy way, or it can disappoint you. Put you where you are. So I think the education to here is very bad.
You're so talented, right? I think for most people, why they want to go by the rules and go by the formula is because it does give them the security, right?
Yeah.
Because for originality, 90% of people will probably fail.
Yeah. In China, it's such a computation. My neighbor's kids go to that school. He gets this grade, this grade. That's all the pressure to put on the parents. And even my neighbor girl got a Louis Vuitton bag. That can make you unhappy because that's the pressure. How other people do. It's in the density of this kind of population, everything other people do become your standard. Then other people's education level becomes, pressure for the rest of the parents. I think this is so foolish. That's why we cannot see enough originality in China. I was, unfortunately, I don't have a formal schooling, but unfortunately to be left alone to do my whatever I wanted to do. My father was such a free thinker. He never told me you cannot read these obscene books, 七香记, what I have the big books inherited from my grandpa. Now the 西香记 was very big, very thick, and then on this side is all corner drawings.
How old were you when you were reading it?
Maybe 7, 8. I don't know what these men and women doing. I think leave them to decide what they want to do. Is the best way to find creators, and don't give them some room. If you crowded all their spaces, out, then they have to grow them in a certain way. They also consider the security is such important problems. In my novel called 老师好美, in English name is with love, to my teacher with love. I addressed this problem. I said I hope I'm heard by the educational department ministry. We can't let our kids suffer like this anymore. There's no fun to be a kid anymore in China nowadays. They're so no, I think from their body posture and everything, they're suffering slightly the depression. And we don't care if they have hormonal problems. To be kids and to be youth in China is so. I think from my experience and my growing up, coming of age, all these periods of my life, I think now I'm harvesting from my father's free thinker education. Yeah, my father tried to teach me mathematics, but fractions. I got slapped because I couldn't concentrate.
What has the U.S. education brought you? How has it influenced you?
You know, I started to learn English at 30, and I published my novels written directly in English in 2007. And it was very well received, and it was called Bedtime of the Story by BBC. It was broadcasted as a novel, you know. And that was my first and only English novel I wrote directly in English. So now we're doing a movie based on this too. So yes, I don't know, but I think the U.S. Experience made me. You know, I never take anything for granted. And when I came to U.S., I just outthrow all my Chinese successes, and I had published 3 novels before I came to this country. So I actually just chucked it back. You know, I started all here in the U.S. Anew. So it was a second period of my highest creativity to be found in this country, because as an immigrant, you have so many to learn, things to learn. You learn how to do the cash machine first, and you know to learn how to turn on the faucets in different bathrooms. I was very embarrassed because sometimes I can't get the water out. Sometimes you use it to step on it. You know, different faucets. That makes me, very. You are always in the slightly agitated state. That means you're learning, you're growing. That's good. That makes you more sensitive. When you are painful and sensitive, you find the stories. You find people's experiences so interesting. And I have a short story written just by an image of a very beautiful, very lazy and delicate lady's nightgown. I was putting in the window, half outside, half inside, in the foggy sunshine. And it was still dripping with water. So I thought, this is more sexy than a woman herself. And it's so beautiful. It's what if I were a man just immigrated from China, and I in the very lonely and state. What if I see this thing, this beautiful representative of a woman? So I think I would be swarmed. So I wrote this whole story is about a man's fantasy about his landlady. That's all he saw about the landlady. Okay, so I think that if I were not that sensitive, I couldn't imagine this story. So being an immigrant and the new experience I have had as a student, and a person who's dumb with languages, slow with speaking, and so everything goes internally and turning into stories. And so that was my biggest harvest of stories when I first came to this country. Then I became, tired of living in the same place, so I went to Africa, to Asia, to Europe with my husband. Since he was a U.S. diplomat, so we were stationed there. So I'm very much enjoying my gypsy life. I think it's always put you in a new perspective and make you never take anything for granted. And you always have distance to criticize and to watch what this country, the culture, and compare. You cannot understand anything fully without comparison. You compare, then you realize, the Chinese is such a unique race, and the Chinese words is so different when you compare with other languages. So I appreciate Chinese as language more and more. It's so subtle and so it's so exceptional language. We are developed from graphics. Then each word actually influenced you subconsciously as a picture. So this picture, this fossil, actually it's a very ancient. We are developed from a cave writing and cave paintings, cave drawings. So if I don't compare with all these languages, and I cannot really appreciate Chinese. So what I do is very simple but very difficult, just to guard Chinese and write Chinese into a beautiful language that is worth appreciation by the whole world. I think nowadays more and more Westerners are learning Chinese. I hope I can write more beautiful Chinese for them to read. That's all.
And just by hearing you talk, I get this creative energy flowing.